right, now we have Troy with us. Are you there, Troy?
Companies don't have to tell you everything that's in their products. But SC Johnson isn't just a company. We're a family who cares about yours. That's why we're working to share all of our ingredients right down to the fragrances and dyes. So with products like Windex, you know what you're bringing into your home.
Yeah,
Going
bear with me
beyond
a
the
minute.
industry standard,
This phone is glitchy
that's the family
sometimes.
standard.
Call us back, okay?
I can hear you.
All right, all right. Can you guys hear me in the chat room now? Everybody hear me in the chat room?
All right.
If you guys can hear me, hopefully.
Yeah, I'm trying to.
All right, Troy, you're live in the chat room now. They can hear you. Are you still there?
All right, I'm just trying to bring up the chat room. My phone is glitching tonight.
Yeah, that's all right, buddy. If we lose you, we'll bring you back. Not a problem. You
All of a sudden.
call us back if you lose me. You call me back, and we'll put you right back in live. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Somebody said my volume is low. I don't know why my volume is low. I don't know.
Yeah, no problem.
How about now? Is
Yeah,
my
that's
volume
what I had
louder?
said.
Is my volume any louder for anybody?
I hear you.
I don't know. Yes, that's much better, Rich. Okay, much better. Okay.
All right, I'm trying to get in.
Try and smack my snowball or smack my blue microphone around. Maybe that'll help. I don't know. Better indeed. All right. Okay, so there has been some questions. Troy's trying to get himself together and get his straightened out, so you guys can listen to me for a second. As you can see, he dropped out. Well, hopefully he'll call us back. And he's having some technical difficulties. Remember, he's out there in the middle of Nowheresville, so that is a problem for him. And we'll get him to call us back, and we'll go from there. So this is going to be sketchy off and on, depending on what's happening, people. So, you know, that's what's going to go on. That's what happens when you live off grid. So those kind of problems do happen. With the modern technology, we still have to do what we have to do. I want to say hello and thank you to everybody showing up in the room and being there. Let's see here. He says he wants me to give him a call. Let's see how this goes. Internet is giving him fits, so he wants me to call him via the phone. Now, let's see how this goes here. Are you there? Are you back?
Yeah, I'm here. Sorry about that.
That's all right. That's all right. Let's bring you back up. Everybody
Yes?
can hear. Everybody can hear you. Everybody can see your little design there. Everything should be good. They should be able to hear you in the room if you'd like to talk to them. So, everybody hear Troy? Troy, say something. Uh-oh. Troy, are you there?
Yeah, listen.
Shut something down, Troy. What are you trying to do?
I'm having serious. Can you call my cell phone, Rich?
I can call your cell phone. You're not going to sound as good, but I can call your cell phone if you want. Maybe you need to try and upload that stuff later on.
Yeah, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Stop uploading stuff. Close everything else down but the Skype. Let me call Troy on the phone here, folks. See what goes on here. Are you there, Troy?
Yeah.
All right. Maybe everybody can hear you in the chat room now. Maybe you ought to try and close everything except for the Skype and try that. Will that help you?
I have no internet tonight. I have no internet.
No internet. Okay, so being out there is causing that problem. No internet tonight.
So, and Skype is, so there's nothing I can do.
Okay. Can you guys hear Troy in the chat room over the phone?
Can you guys hear me all right?
Yep. They said yes. So let me...
Good. You're going to be my eyes tonight, Rich. I cannot see the chat room. So watch for comments, questions, whatever.
Not a problem, buddy. We'll take care of that. All right, Troy. Go ahead with what you want to talk about tonight, and we'll just take it over from here.
Well, let's start out with the difficulties of living in the forest and trying to connect to the outside world.
Okay.
Right now, it's just miss. Right now, it's weather-based. If the weather's odd or the wind is a certain way, I don't get internet. I don't get cell phone reception. So, normally it's pretty good, but tonight I have no internet. I'm really glitching out. So, it can be frustrating at times.
All right. Well, with having you on like this, we're not going to be able to accept phone calls coming in because I got one phone for this, and that's going to do it. But that'll be, we'll take the chat room stuff. And we're going to have these glitches until we get things worked out. Now, starting next month, we will be doing away with the commercials that you guys see in the chat room. And if you want to make that happen faster, well, you can hit the donate button. I know some people had some problems with it, but I'm dealing with about $2,000 worth of bills to run this the way it goes. And that'll be next month. And I have to pay for every person that comes in via video hours for them to be here. So, well, the chat room is able to hold 200 people now. We have updated that to that. And so you guys are going to understand technology and the stuff we're going with. So, Troy, what's been going on the last week out there in the woods? What have you been up to, buddy?
Well, my biggest thing this past week was trying to improve the solar power output. Living out here, I could live like the pioneers and just use oil lamps, but I'm sorry, I don't have the oil. And, starting out like I did suddenly and spontaneously, I was not prepared as you normally would be if you were living off the grid. You would ease into it. So I don't have supplies. I don't have stockpiles of everything. So I need electricity for light because, honestly, going to bed at 6 o'clock in the evening is pretty early. So, we humans, we like to extend our working hours.
All right.
So, anyway, I hooked up my new charge controller, and I've used heavy-duty jumper cables to get a low-cost way of hooking up my wiring. I hacked the jumper cables and cut them into pieces into 3-foot lengths between the batteries and the charge controller and from the batteries to the inverter. So that also boosted my total power that was going from the controller to the batteries. And the new charge controller has more than doubled, maybe even tripled, my usable energy each day.
Well, that's wonderful.
So when the sun is shining, I have more power than I can use, except for my fridge. I can't get my fridge to work no matter what. But I think that's my power inverter is probably too weak and too cheap.
Okay. Now, is there any problem with overcharging the batteries that you have? Do you have something to stop from the overcharge?
Yeah, my new this Northern Arizona Wind and Sun sent me this top-of-the-line solar charge controller, which prevents the batteries from overcharging.
Okay.
And I'm very thankful for that because my little charge controller I had was half manual, half automatic. I kept having to disconnect solar panels, running out to the middle of the meadow and ripping out wires and running back to the camper and checking the current and running back and forth. And I was getting a workout.
Well, how's the weather been up there for you?
Cold. The nights are around just about freezing. It's in the 30s.
Oh.
So we had a little bit of spring, and then it left us.
Okay. Yeah, the gremlins
but for me,
go ahead.
Sorry?
I said the
gremlins... Yeah, for me, it's pretty decent for now.
The gremlins are playing heck with us tonight. They really are. But having a few snafus and little problems. I want to say hi to everybody in the room, and the reason you're seeing me and not Troy is he's on the phone. He has no internet access out there for that, so he's bouncing off a cell tower with a phone tonight. It's going to happen out there in the bush. He's got to do what we got to do. So the show must go on, and that's what we're doing here. All right, so now I got a question for you, and I did have a question that was sent to me. I did forward phone number to you from a gentleman out of Texas. Did he get a hold of you? Did you get a hold of him?
A man called me. I wondered where that number came from. Yeah, we chatted for late into the night. I think it was like 1:45 in the morning we finally stopped talking that day.
All right, so what had happened was is people had asked me for your phone number and or to be connected to you. Now, let me tell everybody here who's listening and watching this show, I will not give out Troy's number unless he tells me to certain people. So I don't give out other host numbers even though we talk back and forth. And there is no phone line to call into to go directly to Troy unless you call his number. So we are not taking phone calls tonight due to Troy being on the phone with us here, and we do not have the capability yet to switch back and forth between the phone calls and Troy. So we will take your comments in the room, and you may log into the room if you're watching from outside the room, and I know quite a few people did last week. They can come in and just log in as 123 or 456 or whatever. It doesn't matter what you log in as. Leave your comments and your questions, and we'll read those to Troy. So if you have any questions for Troy, please put them in the chat room for us, and we will get back with those. Say hi to Sandy and Maha, Mary, Miker, and everybody else who showed up tonight, show 13, and Sleep No More. Crawdaddy's in the room. And we thank you all for being here. Now, I do have a question, Troy. What do you do?
Yeah.
I know you take, you got the electricity via the solar panels, water you get out of the creek and stuff like that. What do you do for waste?
I have a composting toilet that I made. And it's simply a homemade toilet seat. Well, it looks like an outhouse indoors. I built a frame. I put a nice looking wooden toilet seat on it, and you put a 5-gallon bucket underneath it. And it's very simple. You put straw on the bottom, you do your business, and you put straw over the top. And believe it or not, there's no smell. When the bucket is full, you put it on the compost heap, and in a year you have some of the finest fertilizer for your garden.
That is true.
You let it compost for a year, and there are no pathogens. It's all fully broken down. And I'm actually throwing in kitchen scraps, I'm throwing in coffee grounds, I'm throwing in the works. Everything's going in that bucket.
Well, that ought to be a heck of a garden. When you get done, that ought to be a good garden. Hello to Sandy. I did not mean anything if you took it the wrong way. So I think Sandy is a gentleman, and maybe he thought I meant as a woman, but I just said Sandy, and so it doesn't matter to me if you're a man or a woman. If you're just a person in the room, and a hello to y'all. Let's see here. Did he finish the build out of that toilet? He had the frame only. That's what Crawdad was.
No, I am short on funds, so that is a low priority. I'd like to get it done, but that's going to require a trip into town. And that means, well, town meaning the hardware, the lumber yard is actually a 20-minute trip away. So that's low priority for now.
And gas is a very, very precious commodity out there where he's at. Gas is a very precious commodity. So one trip into town and try and do as much stuff as he can on that one trip. So
yes, exactly. I save up my trips, and I heap everything together to save gas because I'm driving a big gas guzzling truck now.
And the question is in the room, what do you do for entertainment?
Well, I wish I had time for that. I work, and I'm working pretty hard. Actually, what I'm doing is my entertainment. I enjoy every minute of every day. And I usually get up, and I usually spend a few minutes praying and reading the Bible. And actually, I should say an hour. But after that, I work until I fall into bed at night.
There you go. All right, let's take a break, and we'll take another question after this. We've got a commercial coming up. So let's take care of this commercial and get it out of the way. And that'll be done.
I love the Lowe's Color Studio. I can try on
Hey,
the
during the
season's
commercial, I'm
colors,
going
get
to,
samples, and make sure we
if
pick
you
the
don't mind, I'm
perfect
going to try to
one. Oh,
reboot
what
my...
about this?
Oh, wait, the internet
Dazzle.
came
Does
back.
it say modern?
All right.
Does it
If
say
you want to try and do that, you go right ahead, buddy.
Valspar Signature.
Well,
Look for it only at Lowe's. Visit us right here at your neighborhood Lowe's store. Lowe's, never
Okay.
stop improving.
All right?
Okay.
All right, I'm going to reboot the phone.
Okay.
Liquid plumber double impact. Double impact.
I'm here to snake the drain.
I'm here to flush the pipe.
Liquid Plumber Double Impact has twice the drain clearing power with a plumber snake to grab deep clogs and a powerful gel to finish off the rest, baby. Liquid Plumber Double Impact.
Alright, we are hanging loose and waiting for Troy to try and come back in. He got internet back, he said, for a few minutes. And if not, then we'll try and give him a ring back. Let's see what goes on here. So far I haven't heard anything from him. I'll give him a couple minutes, and then if not, I'll give him a call back. Sandy says, I got my truck today. I used my mountain bike to get it from the shop to save walking today. Glad I did not break me. There you go. Get it from the shop. There you go. Yeah, my car broke down. I had to walk down. It's about a mile walk down to the service station for me. Get the car after I dropped it off, walk home, get it fixed, walk back down, stuff like that. That's good. That's good. I'm not real good on a bicycle because I've got a bad back and a bad left leg, and I'm afraid sometimes that leg won't hold me up if I go over. That's why I don't ride a motorcycle anymore. I don't think I could hold it up if I had to. Waiting on Troy. I don't know if he's rebooting or what he's trying to do. Let me try and give him a ring back and see how this goes. Oh, Dory, thanks for showing up. We're trying to call Troy back. Well?
Yeah, sorry about that.
Well, it didn't work?
No.
Or are you rebooting?
But, nope, I cannot get internet.
That's
My
right.
internet is failing tonight.
Alright. So for entertainment, basically all you do is sleep. Take care of that there, and you're working, reading the Bible, and taking care of other things around there. Now, are you planning on planting a garden this year?
Yes. I'm trying to find compost, but because I have a Michigan phone number, New Yorkers are very suspicious, and they're not answering my phone calls. There's a lot of compost being given out, and I have an idea to do a raised bed garden with compost and mulch, but as I said, nobody's answering my phone calls. Very frustrating, but I've had this happen a lot before with New Yorkers. They're very suspicious.
Interesting. So now, I know you've been foraging, eating a lot of wild edibles. Have you been studying a lot more on wild edibles?
Not since I moved into the camper. I haven't had time.
All right. Now, is there any fish in that creek behind you?
There's trout in the creek, and I think rock bass, and the lake has a huge variety of fish.
Okay. So are you harvesting fish? Are you fishing?
Yes.
Okay. Do you have fish traps out or anything like that, or are you just line fishing?
Honestly, I just catch what I need because I don't have the refrigeration methods yet, and I'm not yet set up to preserve them properly.
Okay.
I get it set up and unpacked and get my place set up properly. Food and everything I do, you'll see on video.
All right, quit moving around. Don't worry. I don't know where you're at now, but stay there. You keep cutting in and out on me. So are you walking around the camper, or?
I'm sitting still.
Okay, sit still. All right, so the phone stuff's coming in and out a little bit there. So you're having trouble with the refrigerator, getting that going. Now I got a question. You know, I have been talking with another associate of ours, Dude from the Dude Jerky Show, the 80s podcast, and he had mentioned that I don't know if this is true, but he had mentioned that boat things like a boat toilet and boat refrigerators and things like that are more heavy duty than RV stuff. Is that true? Do you know of that?
Most marine equipment is more rugged because you're continuously. I did have a sailboat for a short time, and I grew up on the lakes, on the Great Lakes. So marine equipment is extremely rugged because you're bouncing around continuously, and also it has to be non-corrosive due to the salt water around here.
Okay. We've got Excelsior says, oh, by the way, Troy, while ago you mentioned a book in one of your YouTube videos, Back to Basics. I have that book myself. He says, I did purchase the book of Amazon. Yeah, I'm Canadian. And, well, it indeed a good book, so thank you for talking about it. So Excelsior, that one, so thank you for the Back to Basics hint. And he got the book and said it was wonderful.
Oh, yeah, I love it so much. I used it. I've had it since I was young, and that's one of the heaviest used books in my whole family, in the household. And fortunately, I was the one that got to keep it.
There you go.
And I really, people, when they come over and they visit and they see that on the shelf, that's the first book they grab to look at.
Now, I've got a secret I'll tell, a lot of people don't know, is that I grew up in Kentucky, but I was actually born in Newfoundland, Canada, in Stephansville.
Oh.
And so, yes, I'm a Newfie. I earned it. Yes, all you Canadians can make fun of me. So, yeah, I'm a Newfie, and that's I have a dual citizenship. I was born on a Air Force base. My father was over there before they went to Vietnam, and was working on bombers from the SAC crew that was there, and then he went over and stuff like that. So, I admit it, I'm a Newfie, and you can make all the jokes now you want. So, there you go.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yep. I was born up there. I come back there and back down to Kentucky. Heck of a trade off there from Newfoundland to Kentucky, but you learn the best of both worlds going that way. So.
Oh yeah, I did my basic training in Kentucky.
Did you?
Yeah, it was cold that year. We had record lows.
Now Dory Lynn says I can see the Michiganer in Troy.
Yeah, you can hear it in my voice. I know it.
Well, I just hide mine because I just don't say, hey. That's what, So.
Yeah, hey.
So, what was that? There was two brothers did that show years ago, and they went, ooh, look, or something like that. Yeah. Yeah, I don't say hey, so, we're good with that. So, okay, now you've been working on the solar stuff. You've been working on that. What else you been doing around?
I've dug out I have some generators. I bought 5 standby generators from a guy one day for $100 for the total, for the group. And I had the intentions of converting them over to run my camper one day. And I have chosen the one I'm going to use. And I've got some gas. I got a gallon of gas and some carburetor cleaner. And I'm going to start getting this thing ready to run my camper on cloudy days, because when it's cloudy here, I've got no power at all. And when it's sunny, I have an excess of power.
Now, Crawdaddy asked a question. He said, how did the rest of the visit go with the man of many things the other day? We saw a little bit of the visit on YouTube.
Well, we showed each other. He showed me his Jeep. I got a first-hand look through and through, and we spent probably a good 30 minutes to an hour just going through his Jeep. He's got a good start, but he has a lot more plans going on, so check out his channel. And sorry, guys, I did misspell. It's man of many with the first letter of each word capitalized, and space things with his V at the end. But anyway, he's a good guy. I think we started a good friendship here.
Good.
Because then I showed him my camper, and we spent a long time visiting. We went into town, had dinner at the diner, looked around the town here. I showed him where I live. I mean, he got the grand tour. And we came up mutually. We both had the same idea for years was to form a group here of like-minded people and start having get-togethers. And we're going to do that.
Oh, you're
together.
You hippie commune up there. That's what you're going to do.
Yeah, except for we cut our hair shorter.
Well, at least you guys got hair. What can I say? I myself cannot belong to any hippie commune. I have no hair whatsoever. So.
Yeah, well, you're out.
Yeah, I'm out. All right, so you've got the access. Now, how many of those generators are working? All 5?
No, I got them all for $100 total because none of them were working. They all had various problems. And I didn't want them for the generator anyway. I wanted it for a motor and for the frame. And I got them last summer, almost a year ago. And because they keep moving around all the time, they've been in storage.
Okay.
So, anyway, I am actually choosing the smallest motor out of the bunch of 5 because I'm hooking it up to a car alternator, and that's going to charge my batteries. It's already self-regulated, and it's perfect. So I can be putting as much as 60 amps into my batteries at one time and top them off in an hour.
Now, can I mention the wind thing you got? I don't know if you talked about that with anybody yet.
Not really. Okay. I have a serious wind problem out here, and I do want to set up a windmill.
You want to go that route, or you want to hold off on talking about that now, or?
No problem. I have no problem with talking about the future as well.
Okay.
I make windmills out of fan motors, and I have a webpage that shows you how to. If you look up on Google, table fan windmill, I think I should still be dominating page 1 of Google, because my profession is to get on page 1 of Google. That's my professional job. So if you look up table fan windmill, you'll see how I make windmills out of fan motors. And I have a nice, decent box fan motor that I'm converting. I just want to take it in and have it machined because it's too hard to do it by hand. I've done it, but I want this one precise, and I should pull out 300 watts.
Okay. So,
and
how is you have good wind up there?
It's sporadic. It's really gusty. There's always a gentle breeze, but we get some serious gusts up to 40 miles an hour sometimes.
Wow.
And it's weird because I'm in the middle of a forest, and you wouldn't think there'd be so much wind here, but it's a lot.
Well, you had a tornado come by. You could have really charged them batteries that night.
Yeah, I could have charged up a whole warehouse full.
There you go. All right, let's see here. Castle Mum has made it into the room. Hello, dear. Mary's there. Jed Clampett talking about you guys getting together for a rendezvous with you and the other people up there. That would be interesting with a bunch of other like-minded people. Sandy says, I got 2 on a pole to charge 12-volt batteries, but trees stop my wind until about 15 or 20 miles, I guess, for them to work, miles per hour. So.
Yeah, I forgot what it's called. You can set up the vertical axis windmill with the blades that go up and down, and usually they're more sensitive to low wind. And that's an experiment I'm going to try as well.
Now, what is the, I guess it's like a vertical windmill, but I saw overseas in France, and then Sweden uses a lot of vertical windmills, but they also have one that's like a corkscrew scrape. I want to say like an Archimedes screw, that kind of shape, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I've seen that. I have an idea to make a vertical axis windmill and use boards angled outwards from the sides of the windmill to help channel more wind into it. It would have to be adjustable because you don't want to have, when you have strong winds, you don't want to have too much blasting through there. But it's an idea I always had.
So like putting fins on to narrow it down to funnel the wind into the...
Yeah, creating a funnel, basically. Yes.
Okay.
That's an idea I have. I've got a lot of plans. I want to start digging a hole out back before it gets hot out. I'm going to create if I can dig through the rock layer here, I'm going to create a geothermal cooling system. And also, I want to take my thermoelectric cooler and put it underground where it's 50 degrees, put a thermostat on it, and leave it running 24/7. It'll shut itself off when it gets cold and regulate itself that way, and I'll use so much less power.
Now, one of the things, first of all, Excelsior asked a question, any plans to travel in the summer?
If I get my car back, yes. I want to start visiting other YouTubers and other preppers, and once a month I want to go see somebody else. For now I'm sort of stuck, but anybody who wants to meet me, just email me at info@thediyworld.com, and the door's open. Come on over if you want to come out, spend the weekend, spend a night, spend a day. Come over and check it out.
There you go. The info@thediyworld.com. Okay.
I love the Lowe's Color Studio. I can try on the season's colors, get samples, and make sure we pick the perfect one. Oh, what about this? Dazzle. Does it say modern? Does it say chic?
It says blue. Valspar Signature. Look for it only at Lowe's. Visit us right here at your neighborhood Lowe's store.
Yeah,
Lowe's. Never stop improving.
Lowe's, and because if I had time, I'd turn the phone on a couple times and turn it off sometimes, and eventually it would probably catch the signal, but I'd have that luxury with the time of the, specific time for the meeting.
Well, we can call, we can do whatever. We have a movie queued up in case we don't get hold of you and other stuff like that, so we will take it the best we can, and I know they are patient waiting. They understand that you're off-grid, you're out in the middle of nowhere. And, if we lose you or get you back, that's the important part, is you always come back. So we can do what we have to do. Now, this is going to be, I want you guys to advertise this for him every Monday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. He's going to have a show. So we need to get that out there. If you guys can advertise for him on Google and on Skype and on Facebook and on YouTube, every medium, social medium, get them here, aroundthecabin.com. Every Monday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time will be Troy's show. Okay, there also is a page for him that you guys can go check out right off here and go to his website, The DIY World. That's THE, DIYworld.com. So.
Yeah, we'll do this every Monday. Sorry about tonight. My phone, I'm out in the middle of the forest in the mountains, and sometimes I lose internet, sometimes I lose everything.
Yep.
Tonight it's just coming and going, so that's part of life out here.
And you're doing great. Now, we did have, you talked about the geothermal heating and cooling and stuff. I have a doctor's office up the road from me who actually put that in his place, all in the floor of his entire place. He has geothermal hooked up through there and run all the hoses through that and put that into his place, and that was pretty cool to watch them build that. I do have, somebody's mentioning a root cellar. Do you have a root cellar out there?
It's going to be an all-in-one. I'm going to dig a big hole, as I say, if I can get through the rock level here, or the rock layer, and I want to keep food down there. I want to put my electric cool box down there and also use it as a tornado shelter. But I also want to dig a big trench and put pipes in it to cool my camper in summer. Because it can be, a camper is an oven. So this is going to be an all-in-one hole when I get it dug.
Now, how about a spring house?
I'm not sure what a spring house is.
Basically, you used the creek and funneled it through a building, and the temperature of the water going through the building would then help you put it down lower, and it would help keep the stuff cooler in there. So you would actually control the water coming in and going out, like say with a 1/2-inch pipe or something like that, and be able to control the water coming in and out, and be able to store your milk and whatnot in water, in the container in the water without being out in the open.
Yeah, I've thought about it, but the temperature of your creek water varies throughout these seasons.
Right.
And your ground temperature is quite stable at about 50 degrees, and I like to be able to control my temperatures.
Excelsior wants to know why you don't move the trailer closer to the creek, and I can answer one reason why you would not want to do that. But go ahead. What else do you have?
I can't get to it. For one thing, this is not my place. The owners of the property. This is 90 acres. It's actually, I'm not sure if it's a half mile or a quarter mile to the road, but the property is quite long. And the owners have a house up near the front, and that's where the creek meets. It comes up close to the house. But from there on, it angles really sharply deep into the forest and crosses a neighbor's property out there by the time it gets parallel with my camper. And it's all swampland out there. So I cannot even get to it in summer from out here where my camper is. It's pure swamp. So what I do is if I want water, I load up my tanks in my truck. I drive up by the house to where the creek is, and I load up my containers.
Okay. Now, the other reason why you would not want to put a house or a trailer or anything like that near the creek is mosquitoes. Bugs and mosquitoes are going to be around the water, and that is why when people say they carried their water, 100 yards and whatnot, you don't want to be down there by the creek, and also the ability to flood, things like that. But the bugs near the creek are going to be a lot worse than where he's at.
They are. They are. Actually, I have fewer bugs by my camper than there is just near the house. There's these little suicide bugs, I call them, these stupid little black flies that want to go into your eyeballs and die.
Yep.
Are really bad up there. So, yeah, I have fewer bugs here. And, again, it's pure swamp. Out between me and the creek is pure swampland. So there's just no way. I would love it if I could be close enough to use hydroelectric power. I would have no problems ever again. I'd have more power than I could ever use.
Now, what about some kind of very small, let's say a half-inch hose or half-inch black tubing or whatever, or any colored tubing, whatever you want to use, running the water from the creek back up to the camper with a solar-powered pump of some kind? Do they have anything like that that would be enough to run that water from wherever you can get into it, to suck it up to the camper, so you would not have to, it may be warm by the time you get it, but the question is, would you be able to do that in the summertime, get the water to run up to where you're at?
Well, I'm a couple thousand yards, 1,000 yards, 2,000 yards from the creek in any given direction, no matter what. So I can't afford the hose.
Okay.
I mean, the theory is it's possible, but there's no way I could ever afford the hose to do it. Another idea I had was to just build a hydroelectric unit down up by the house, and if I could ever find a gigantic roll of AC wire, I could run the wire through the forest up to my camper, and I'd have unlimited power. I can convert it to DC to charge the batteries here.
Yep.
But the problem is that's expensive as well as the hose. So either way, I'm just too far from the creek to really use it. It would be the best. If this was my property, that would be the way to go.
All right. Any more questions in the room? We're looking here. Do you harvest any game?
I'm not allowed to on this property. The owner sold the hunting rights to his brother years ago. And I talked to the brother, and he said, absolutely not. No way.
Okay. All right.
So, not right now.
And they want to know, did you find a better way to fill the water tanks on the truck?
Well, I want to thank everybody for all the advice. For now, what I'm going to do is somebody suggested using 2 buckets, which is a good idea. You have 1 bucket siphoning into the water tank on the truck, and you're hauling another bucket. Just keep it going. And some people gave me advice on how to get the siphon going better without sucking on the tube. And for now, that's the easiest, because I was going to use the 12-volt electric pump, but then you have the issue of trying to run wires or a hose from the creek up to the truck. And I can't really get close enough to the creek with the truck to make that convenient. So it's easy enough to haul 5-gallon buckets for now.
Crazy 23 wondered if you have a shallow well about 2 to 5 feet from the creek.
I don't. Again, it's not my property, so I can't be playing around up there. I can do anything I want out here in the forest. Nobody, the owners are too old to even care what I'm doing out here in the forest.
Yeah.
But up by their house is a different story.
Right. Well, keep an eye out. They're talking about some of those turkeys that come by in the middle of the night. A turkey in the middle of the night could trip and fall and hurt itself. So, if that happens, something nice.
Yeah, well, if they do, then I will have dinner.
Yeah, you might want to invest in a bow of some time.
I have a bow. It's just that, yeah, you know what? I don't need to anger anybody. That's fine. I can go without hunting for now.
There you go. So, what else do we got here? Is there a seasonal... No, he said the creek's too far away, Castle. The question was, is there a seasonal creek near you? Any old trench, maybe, or something like that? That was from Crazy23. The answer is no. Actually, the creek is near the front of the property. He's near the back of the property, and by the time the creek gets to near the back of the property, it actually goes off onto somebody else's property before it gets there. And there's a whole bunch of swamp between him and the creek. So...
Although, it's very wet land around here. I'm thinking about digging right into the swamp. And now, it won't be fresh water, but I'm wondering if I can dig down, maybe find a shallow well near the swamp water, and even if I have to filter it, because a shallow well won't be as filtered through the earth as a deep well, but I'm going to make a filter anyway, and if I can get a large water source, that's great.
If you could get a large enough container, like a plastic tote or tub or old garbage can, sink that, if it was shallow enough that you could put, like, let's say a 55-gallon drum, put that down in there and get a battery-powered sump pump. A small battery-powered sump pump down there, and be able to pump the water back to wherever.
That's what I'm thinking. Yep. Exactly. I'm thinking about just digging in the swamp and let the water, putting screen around the lip of the container, a 55-gallon plastic drum, in the ground, in the swamp. Let the water run off, because every time it rains, it's refreshed.
Right.
Let the water run off into the drum, pump it up into up by my camper. Now there, I only need like 100, maybe 200 feet of hose, rather than a couple thousand feet. And a garden hose you can get for what, $10, $20?
Yeah.
Then I could pump it up to my camper, run it through my filter, and I'd have nearly unlimited water supply as long as it was replenishing in that drum.
Now, what about a rain barrel for I know the camper doesn't normally come with gutters, but what if you could put some kind of, I don't know, catch the edges with a 1/2-inch PVC pipe or something?
I want to put rain gutter. Well, actually, I want to build a raised frame with 12-inch poles above the camper and run metal sheets. There have to be 40-foot-long metal sheets laying out here on the property, and I want to put them above the camper to catch rainwater and run that into 55-gallon drums. My problems are the wood out here in New York is quite expensive, and there's not enough long pieces of wood here usable. There's a lot of scrap junk wood laying around, but not enough long pieces to do what I want to do. And the other issue is the rain barrels. Out here, people sell them for $20, $30 a piece, which isn't bad. But I need to save up for some rain barrels, and I'll be all set.
All right, so you need some rain barrels, and you need some long timber wood or long 4x4s, 2x4s, stuff like that. You need some good wood. So if anybody's listening and they watch this later on after this gets uploaded, we're looking for some rain barrels or barrels to use for rain barrels, and we're looking for long wood to make a frame over the camper so that he can collect rain water. If anybody has anything that can help out with that, please get hold of Troy at thediyworld.com. Of course, you guys can go there and hit the donate button and donate over on thediyworld.com and help him out with what he's looking for. I know he doesn't like to ask very much for that, but I will take that initiative and ask for him because we're trying to get this. And maybe he'll get a little better internet exception with something up on the roof. Who knows? But that would be great. The water table. How now, like water table? In Florida, the water table is very low. I mean, you know, they're only a few feet off. What is the water table where you're at? Any idea?
I honestly have no knowledge of such things, except I would think that since I'm surrounded by swamp and there's mountain runoff, when it rains, there's little streams running all over the place. It's gone the next day, but there's a lot of fresh water here just running all over the property every time it rains.
So making some kind of, basically what you're looking for though is a shallow well, is you're looking for some kind of water catch, a shallow water catch around the property that you could do.
Yeah, I'm seriously thinking of harvesting swamp water and filter it.
Well, why not? I mean, you can get different filters. I mean, you can get a Sawyer water filter, which is good for 1 million gallons, and then reflush it.
I love the Lowe's Color Studio. I can try on the season's colors, get samples, and make sure we pick the perfect one. Oh, what about this? Dazzle. Does it say modern? Does it say chic?
It says blue.
Valspar signature. Look for it only at Lowe's. Visit us right here at your neighborhood Lowe's store. Lowe's, never stop improving.
And after the commercials are gone, we'll take care of that. These commercials you're seeing are
the Self-Reliance Spectacular at Nebraska Furniture Mart. What makes it spectacular?
Costs a little pay for this, so
and a free HD TV with any qualifying furniture purchase. Plus, get 20-month financing only at Nebraska Furniture Mart. Check out spectacular deals on patio too.
And I understand people don't like the commercials. I don't like the commercials any better than you do. But when we come back and not have any commercials, it'll be about the 6th of next month. That'll all be changing and everything will be running much better. We have updated the chat room. We can have up to 200 people in the chat room, and we're doing the best we can with the phone lines and everything else. We are starting out. This is the only place that you will find live where you can talk with us, chat with us, be in the room with us, call in, and things like that on the internet, where you're going to talk about these things like the off-grid camper and stuff like that. You know, you just can't get enough people into. If you go to Google+, you can only have 10 people in the room. You could have a bunch of them outside the chat room watching and talking, but you can only have 10 people that you're actually dealing with. And Skype, you can only have 10 people doing video. After that, it drops out whether or not you have other things. So to do this runs about, about $2,000 a month for what we're going to do starting next month. And I guarantee you guys are really going to be happy with it. It's really going to go really great. So, all right, now we have, let's see, different things here. Campers setting above a freshwater ocean is what they said. Well, let's hope. Let's hope he's sitting above a freshwater ocean. That would take a lot out. Be a whole lot better for him.
Yeah. The only problem is I know that the owners, they have I don't know how deep their well is, I should ask. They have a well, and the water's pretty nice tasting, especially if you run it through a Brita filter. But actually my friends begged me to fill up gallon jugs for them when I have the Brita filter going. But anyway, their well runs dry in summer. And they pump water from the creek into their well. So they do drink the creek water directly. And they run it right into their well to refill it in summer.
Now, see, it depends on what they're filtering. Are they filtering out of the well some way?
No.
Oh, I'd want to have that water tested. That's just me. I'd want.
I'm not drinking creek water straight up myself. They say they do all the time, but I don't. When their well runs dry, I look for a different source of water.
Well, you know, it only takes a little bit of, it only takes one protozoa, you know, their Gerardia or Cryptosporidium or something like that, and you know, then it's a lot of, it's a big bill to try and get rid of that stuff and kill those things in you. It's a lot easier, you know, boiling it and doing other things. And Sandy did make a comment, boil it. That, let me tell you people, boiling is the only surefire method for treating water, okay? You can filter water, okay? You don't know if you're going to get everything. It depends on your filter. I use a very good filter from Sawyer Water Filters, very good filter, but it's no guarantee, never a guarantee. The other thing is people put chemicals in the water. You can look on CDC for your controlled, you know, your diseases and that. Nothing. I don't care what it is. Any chemical does not guarantee that it will kill everything. The only, and I repeat this, the only way guaranteed to kill everything in the water is to boil it. Okay? That is the only way. Let's see here. So what plans do you have for this coming week?
This coming week? Well, it depends on, time is flying out here because just every day I'm chopping wood, trying to reinforce my skirting, trying to figure out how to maximize solar power. I have a lot of ongoing projects, but I hope to get my generator running and at least get the engine cleaned up and get it going. I am short on gas. I only have a gallon of fuel, but I do hope to get that going at least and start the conversion. And then eventually I'll run it on wood gas, so that's a huge project. I also want to start digging a hole out back here to put my food in, and also have a shelter in case a tornado hits again.
Okay.
And just continue shoring up the camper skirting because the wind out here is furious. It keeps ripping it apart on me.
Now, let's see. Crawdad says, hey, Troy, last time on the camper experiment, you were collecting rain with an old gutter and sheet metal, if memory serves. I assume it didn't work out too well.
It worked great, but the sheet metal was resting on the roof of the camper, and it was a 2 or 3 man job taking these 40-foot long pieces of sheet metal and getting it on top of the camper. And I remember while we were putting it up, we dropped it and it almost smashed the windows out of the camper. And when we were taking it down, it was a nightmare. And because it was just 40-foot long sheets of metal laying on the roof of the camper, just 2 of them. When it rained, I get 30 gallons in 5 or 10 minutes.
Wow.
When it first, yeah, it was insane. Off 2, they were about 1.5 feet wide by 40 foot long, 2 pieces of sheet metal. But it was so precariously perched up there, and when the wind blew, I was always terrified it would rip off and take something off the roof with it.
Yeah.
So I really wanted to do it better.
So
but yes, it worked really amazingly. I mean, every time it rained, my tank would be full.
All right. Let's see here. Also, for the wood situation, if I may make a suggestion, as the temperature, this is from Excelsior, as the temperature gets somewhat better, get the wood from as far possible from your camper to build up next winter to keep the closest wood as an emergency supply. So harvesting the wood for burning, get it, you know, as it's summertime, get the wood further away and bring it to the camper where, you know, you can do that, or go somewhere where you can collect wood. If anybody has any firewood that they're getting rid of in his area, please bring him over some firewood, as long as it's not full of termites and stuff. Because he, you know, cutting wood for fire to live. Now, how is that working out with your wood stove and everything else like that? What's the situation now?
Well, I'm still in limb mode with the wood stove. I have the filler neck open. I do get some steam off into the camper from time to time. I have to run the stove relatively cool. That means I don't get to get cozy temperatures in here very often. You know, sometimes they're running up really hot and quick, but not long enough that it boils off the water, and then I let the fire go out. And I can get it up to 70 degrees in here. So I can get it up from 40 to 70 in 30 minutes before the water boils, and then I let it go out. But I'm still in limp mode. I want to rebuild this whole system. And I'm still hand-cutting firewood with a handsaw.
Now, what is, I'm sorry people, I'm not real big on this, but what is the outside where you have the fire outside and the hot air goes into the house, and it's kind of like a, you know, the smoke doesn't go into the house, just the hot air from around the fire goes into the house to keep it warm, but you actually build the fire outside. I know Jay Nulo has one of those on YouTube, and he does that quite a bit to heat the house and other things. And he can actually cook on the top of his, you know what I'm saying? It's some kind of heat exchange. Honestly, thank you, Show 13. The heat exchange. Thank you.
But honestly, who wants to go outside in the dead of winter in the middle of the night to stoke up your fire? I have it right here next to my bed.
That's true. I mean, there's give and take in all of them. I know your wood stove has a water jacket also on it. You know, a lot
which is extremely efficient.
Yeah,
this water jacket, this was designed to heat water, and it does it well. That's why everybody keeps asking me why you have water pumps and fans. Well, this thing, I mean, I'm telling you, let me see somebody else heat up their home in 30 minutes from 40 degrees to 70. This thing is efficient.
Yep.
And I only use a handful of tweaks to do it. So this is really efficient.
All right, Excelsior's got okay. I have a camper myself, and it goes since 3 weeks. So weather kind of cold here. So what's the advice? I put a door cloth. I'm reading what he's typing a little at a time here.
Yeah.
One other thing while we're oh, okay. So what you're doing is you're breaking down the okay. They put a cloth up across the camper to make the space smaller to keep the heat in. You know, so you're only living in like half the camper, that kind of thing.
On the colder nights, I was doing that. In the winter, last month, it was really miserable. And I was dividing off the front of the camper where I'm sleeping, and it made a huge difference. But I'm telling you, the camper skirting, now that I have that metal up around the bottom of the camper, that was the best thing I could have ever done.
Yeah, because you're getting the wind underneath you, and that's taking that stuff away too and cooling that down. So yeah.
My floor was ice cold all the time, and now I don't have to divide off the camper anymore because it's just, I'm not losing the heat as fast as I was.
Yeah, and they said cover the windows over, conserve heat escape. Now, even here in my house, we actually put bubble wrap up across the windows in the wintertime, and that seems to work
I've heard that. And I also have the hardware store was selling doggy blankets. They're fleece blankets. They were supposed to be for dogs, but they fit my windows, and I bought 3 of them. I've got them draped up, and I had another fleece already, and I have thick curtains. So all my windows are covered at night.
Yep. Now in the summertime, the other thing we do to keep the heat out of the house, because I have a southern window, I have a couple southern windows, and man, that part of the house, you know, because it comes up and it's just really hot. And I would do great by storing heat in like black containers and stuff like that. But the other thing we do in the top part of the window that we don't use, I actually put, you know, the old ceiling tiles with the white side. I actually put that ceiling tile with the white piece. It's the foam stuff. You know, it's got like insulation in there. I put that up against the top window, and the light hits and reflects back, and it seals that off. And then it helps with the air conditioning too to keep that so it's insulated to keep the air conditioning in. We can still get some light from the bottom part of the window and see out, and we go that way. Plus, we have heavy drapes to keep the air conditioning in when we're running air conditioning. And when we have the windows open, of course, we just have the windows wide open to enjoy it. But we actually have old ceiling tile pieces we use to put in the top part to reflect the sunlight out and to help keep the coolness in. So, Let's see.
Right.
Somebody says bubble wrap is great. Line it with Mylar blanket if you have a space and you have a space station. There you go. Yeah. Mylar.
Yeah. Actually, I have those reflective foil car sunscreens all over my camper. I tack them up to reflect the heat back in. It helps radiate the heat back inside if you use the shiny side in.
Yep.
And it's foam on the other side, so it helps insulate the windows as well.
Now to keep the heat out, now remember Elvis used to put aluminum foil over his windows to keep the heat out in the summertime. It would reflect off that and bounce back and wouldn't heat up the house. He put aluminum foil up. So if you put aluminum foil all over the trailer, we just figure Elvis would be living out there with you, that's all.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, my area where I'm at is known for alien sightings. So, you could also think that I'm paranoid about aliens with all the aluminum foil up.
Oh, okay. So we have aluminum foil aliens out there. Do you have any Bigfoot sightings out that way?
Well, there's a theory that the freaky noises at night are Bigfoot.
There you go.
I'm pretty sure it's Elvis because I don't know about Bigfoot swinging from the treetops, but I don't know. I'm always open to any possibility. You never know.
Supposedly we have the Ohio Grassman down here by me, and I think that was a picture of me with my shirt off jogging one day, is what they got. So I'm so hairy, I do believe that Bigfoot has pictures of me. So, yes, that's a scary thing there, but, yeah. All right, Troy, your hour's up. We're about done. You have any other comments, any other questions anybody wishes to push in here? We're at 10:05 now. I know his battery's going on the phone. Anything else for this week? Remember, next week, and between now and this week, you can go to the top of the page. There is a Contact Us button. And if you go down to the subject, there's actually a contact area so that you may leave questions to Troy so that we can read them to him and he can answer those questions for you and be ready for next week. It's right here on the website. You can leave questions for Troy in the contact section, okay? You can find that right up there in the subject line.
One last thing. I do have today's video to upload. I don't do Sunday videos anymore. I'm not home enough to do so, but I did upload some video from yesterday today. I have video from today. I will be uploading if I can get this phone on the internet. Give me about an hour. Hopefully you'll see a video.
Okay.
Hopefully.
Well, it'll be something to look forward to, and if we don't get it there tonight, we'll get it there tomorrow with the internet connection. They won't hold you to that. We'll just be looking for it. Excelsior says, now, Troy, we need a bug zapper that works on 12 volts. Now.
Yeah, I was thinking about that, but I actually found where is it? Harbor Freight sells
using telemedical and mobile technologies.
Bug zappers, handheld bug zapper.
Verizon
you just pop in a couple batteries,
trauma
and I'll tell you what, I use it heavily.
In the extremities.
Helping them get the attention they need before they even reach the hospital. Because the world's biggest challenges deserve even bigger solutions.
It's a handheld bug zapper. It looks like a tennis racket.
Oh.
And when the bugs are buzzing around you, just grab it and zap. They're gone.
All right. Well, hold on a second. Here we go. One more commercial. We'll do this and we'll cut it out right here.
Using supercomputing and mobile technology over our secure network, Verizon innovators are building a world of medical treatment data in the cloud, so doctors can make a more informed diagnosis from anywhere in seconds rather than months. Because the world's biggest challenges deserve even bigger solutions, powerful answers.
Well, all right, I should do this, all right? Now that you mention it, you could just put a light bulb behind it if you want, a fluorescent light. Will attract the bugs, and they'll fly towards it and zap themselves.
Yeah. It's so beautiful, I can't help myself. Yeah, that's entertainment, man.
I mean, they're not expensive. They're under $5 a piece. They're a handheld bug zapper. They look like a tennis racket. And you just swing it through the air, you press the button, swing it through the air, and it zaps bugs, and it works well.
Now, I have something for you guys, and I don't normally talk about my friend because he's a very quiet person out in here in Ohio, and he has a fish pond, and it is U-shaped for a reason. Because in the center, he has a pole, and off of that pole, hanging off each side, there is wires going over the fish pond. And then he has 2 poles on each side. So you've got a U-shape with 3 poles across there. 1 in the center and 2 on each side. And he has 2 bug zappers that hang over the pond. And the thing is, the bugs fly in at night, they get zapped by the electric, and they fall in and feed the fish. And it cuts down on his fish food. And he has a very large pond. It's just U-shaped, and he has the electric that goes over that. So that's what he uses it for. And but he actually uses that for a large, fresh food never goes bad. So the fish in there have been there for quite a bit, and he actually had it stocked to begin with, and had not had to deal with that. But he lives off his property here in Ohio and does that kind of stuff. So very good. And we always talked about getting him a power. What am I trying to say? A battery operated one. But it would have to be able to run off large batteries, and we have not found that as of yet. As far as I know, he's still using electricity.
It's easy enough. It's easy enough to convert something to 12 volts. All you have to do is, let's say it's a 3-volt device, you put 4 together and you have 12 volts. You string them up together. Simple, it's simple enough to do.
There you go. Smarter than me. I'm not that kind of guy. So, smarter than me.
And you put a light bulb in the middle, or a fluorescent light bulb in the middle, and 4 of them in a square, hook it up to your 12 volts, and you've got yourself a 12-volt bug zapper.
There you go. I wonder if the landowner would allow you to make a small pond.
I don't have to, because there's a massive pond. Actually, it's like a lake up on the front of the property, and I'm allowed to use it anytime I want. There's actually 2 islands on it. I'm going to do, just for fun, I'm going to do a survival weekend out on one of the islands. Taking nothing out there except for a shelter, my knife, and my fishing gear, and spend a weekend out there fending for myself.
All right. Excelsior says, sorry because of the ads, I missed the 12-volt bug zapper, but I'll email Troy this week. Excelsior says that.
Not a problem.
Not a problem, not a problem. We're going to hang it up for the night. It's 10:11. Remember, everybody please advertise for Troy, because he's, his stuff is intermittent out there. Advertise, tell your friends, be here. Go check out the DIYworld.com. Go over and see him. And if you guys are close enough to him, he'd love to have the company, and, bring him out something. Bring him out some wood or a barrel, or, a steak dinner, something like that. Swing out there and see him, check him out. Keep tabs on him, because I only get to talk to him a couple times a week. So he's quite a busy guy. But
yeah. My last comment for the night, living off the grid is a full-time job. It's busy. And let there be no doubt in your mind, doing what I'm doing is busy.
There you go. Now, we are pioneers in the technology of putting these videos up and doing the chat rooms and everything like this. And we greatly appreciate you all being here. But we are talking to Troy from the DIYworld.com with the Off-Grid Camper. And he is truly being a pioneer out there in the woods. So keep your heads up there, Troy. We greatly appreciate you taking the time and being with us and being a host with us. And we look forward to more things from you. Remember, you guys can check out his stuff, his articles, his feeds directly here on AroundTheCabin.com. And you can go to the DIY World and donate and talk with him out there and leave messages to him that way. And we greatly appreciate you all being here for us tonight. And thanks for being here. Troy, they're all saying thank you very much for sharing. You did a great show. And everybody's giving you a big high five. And we appreciate it, buddy.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you for coming, everybody.
All right, we will see you all tomorrow night for Dude Jerky Show. And he is on at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And Dude is not only funny, but he also teaches you a little bit there with that. So Dude's show tomorrow, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here. I'll see you all around the cabin. Thanks for coming by. Close the gate on the way out, will you? All right. Talk to you all later.
Bye.